Former NBA player Damon Jones becomes the first person to plead guilty in a massive gambling ring, where the case against former Blazers coach Chauncey Billups stands this afternoon.
And we've documented over 2,000 complaints from people in detention.
Today, Washington state leaders announcing a legal action against the Tacoma ICE facility. Why the Department of Health hasn't been allowed inside for years.
Definitely shocked. Pretty confused too, because I wasn't expecting someone to steal a trailer full of rugby gear.
Plus thousands of dollars worth of rugby gear gone overnight. Now the team's searching for answers. Plus a big semi-truck crash shuts down northbound I-5, backing up traffic for miles in southwest Washington. An update on the road now at noon. And taking a live look at the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, where King Charles III is addressing Congress. It's the second time ever a British monarch has addressed lawmakers at the Capitol. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon. King Charles and Queen Camilla arrived at the White House this morning. Since then, King Charles has met with congressional leaders all day, including a one-on-one with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Queen Camilla also participated in an education event with First Lady Melania Trump. King Charles' visit follows the investigation into the former Prince Andrew, the UK royal, stripped of his title, was arrested in connection to Jeffrey Epstein, something some U.S. lawmakers have said they hoped King Charles would address today. And happening in just a few minutes from now, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson and Attorney General Nick Brown are preparing to announce legal action against the Northwest ICE detention facility in Tacoma. It's been a 3-year standoff. In 2023, Washington lawmakers passed a law allowing health inspectors to check private detention facilities, but they've been denied entry 9 times. The latest denial came in March, even after a federal court ruled in the state's favor. Advocates say detainees have also raised concerns about food, medical care, and religious accommodations.
We've documented over 2,000 complaints from people in detention and submitted that to the Department of Health, and yet they still are not able to go in and inspect this privately owned and operated business.
The Department of Health says it has documents of over 3,500 complaints. We'll have the latest from that press conference coming up today at 4 o'clock. Well, good news if you're heading north. WashDOT says all northbound lanes of I-5 near Woodland have reopened. This is a look at an overturned semi that blocked all lanes around 9 o'clock this morning. The trailer right across the lanes, and now we've got it up right there, backing up traffic, though, for hours. Officials say the driver lost control before flipping over, and thankfully, nobody was hurt in that. All right, here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. Former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones has become the first person to plead guilty in a gambling sweep that led to the arrests of more than 30 people, including former Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups. This morning, Jones pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He could face roughly 2 years behind bars. Meantime, Chauncey Billups pleaded not guilty to charges of money laundering and wire fraud back in November. It's still unclear whether he will be offered a plea agreement. Billups is expected back in court in June. Well, a major oil supplier is pulling out of OPEC. The United Arab Emirates announcing it will be out May 1st. OPEC, or the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, is a massive oil cartel led by Saudi Arabia. Its member countries produce 36% of the world's oil. OPEC strongly influences oil prices through production limits that control supply from its member nations. The UAE has long pushed for higher production quotas. Its decision to leave OPEC is likely driven by a desire to produce more oil. 3 to 4% of the world's crude supply comes from the UAE. And Jimmy Kimmel has responded to calls from the president and first lady for him to be fired. President Trump has demanded ABC dismiss Kimmel over comments he made on his show days before the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. Last week, Kimmel did a sketch where he pretended to be the hired comedian at the event.
Look at Mo, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
After Saturday's shooting, the First Lady called Kimmel's jokes corrosive and said they, quote, deepen the political sickness within America. President Trump echoed that in a social media post on Monday, calling for Kimmel to be fired. Kimmel responded last night on his show, saying the joke referred to the couple's age difference and did not imply any violence. Federal Trade Commission data shows scammers use social media to defraud people out of $2.1 billion in 2025. Facebook was the most commonly used platform, followed by WhatsApp and Instagram. Victims lost the most money on investment scams. Those start with ads or posts that offer to teach people how to invest. The most common scams were from shopping, where an advertised product was never delivered. Most romance scams also started on social media. We're taking a live look from our Wells Fargo sky cam. Looks like it's pointed south at the clouds there. Kind of a gray day, but big changes are on the way. And meteorologist Chris McGinnis is tracking all that. Chris?
Yeah, for sure. If I told you I had 80 degrees in my 7-day forecast and you stepped out there today at noon, you might not believe it.
Right.
But that's coming. For now, though, to Tim's point, gray skies here. Yeah, lots of cloud cover here up and down the west coast, primarily west of the Cascades, although those are the low clouds. The high cloud cover is also pushing up and over the Cascade Peak. So it's going to be cloudy for a good chunk of the day today. We do have some high filtered sunshine out towards the Dalles. There's a high overcast there, but down low it's clear, hence the observation indicating mostly sunny there, 58. But from Vancouver, you can see we've got socked in cloud cover and 57 from the Springs to the waterfront. Wells Fargo sky camera pointed to the south, 55 degrees last check at PDX, and elsewhere across the region, low to mid 50s. It's 51 in Happy Valley, McMinnville checking in with 54, 56 in both Albany, Salem, Albany and Salem. Okay, the plan for the rest of the day today, mostly cloudy for sure for at least the next 2-3 hours. We will and probably will start to poke some holes in that cloud cover. I'm going to go limited sunshine. As long as we see a few breaks, we could get up to about 60 or 61. Sunset tonight, by the way, at 8:14. We keep pushing that sunset later. And as the weather warms up, I think a lot of folks are going to appreciate that. That is in my forecast for tomorrow and beyond. Stay tuned.
All right, Chris, thank you. Vancouver police are investigating after a drive-by shooting sent 2 people to the hospital. Around 8:30 last night, Vancouver police responded to reports of a shooting near Northeast 18th Street between Burnt Bridge Creek and 4th Plain Boulevard. When they arrived, police found a man with non-life-threatening injuries was taken to the hospital. He was. Half an hour later, a second gunshot victim was brought to the hospital with a life-threatening injury. Police recovered several shell casings from the firearm from the scene there. And taking a look at our other top stories in Clark County, the sheriff's office says a 73-year-old man was killed Monday morning in a shooting. Deputies say they found Gary Bender dead inside his home off Northeast Davis Road just after 11. Authorities caught up with a suspect who was seen leaving the area on a bike. Police arrested 34-year-old Brian Kangas, who they say had a gun with him at the time. In Beaverton, a 21-year-old is in custody, accused of killing a 20-year-old man. Police found the victim in the parking lot of the Park Brook Manor Apartments on Southwest 5th around 7 o'clock Monday morning. And despite life-saving efforts, that Beaverton man was pronounced dead at the scene. They say the suspect, Baltazar Rivera Brito, was nearby. Detectives say the two knew each other. Well, a Southeast Portland youth rugby team is out thousands of dollars in gear after someone took off with their team trailer. Players say the trailer was packed with nearly all the club's sports equipment. Libby Dowsett has reaction from the team.
Players and their coaches are asking for the public's help trying to track down their trailer that was locked up with pretty much all the equipment they need to play. Now we're talking about uniforms, practice gear, and tackle pads, all gone. The Eastside Tsunami Youth Rugby Team says the trailer went missing late Thursday from the 6700 block of Southeast Belmont Street near Mount Tabor. The trailer was secured with multiple hitch and wheel locks, but someone was still able to take it. The rugby club draws players from across the Portland area and says the loss has hit especially hard.
Definitely shocked, pretty confused too, because I wasn't expecting someone to steal a trailer full of rugby gear.
I think we might have one tackle pad, maybe.
There was an ability for them to have smelled the trailer from the outside. They would have known they didn't want to get into that trailer.
Now that coach is joking, but he says he estimates the losses between $10,000 and $15,000, a big hit for a nonprofit like theirs. They filed a police report, set up a GoFundMe. They're just hoping they can get that trailer back with all its gear so they can keep playing. In Portland, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.